Many of you know the benefits of being in a peak performance state in sporting performance or athletic performance, but do use the same philosophy for high performance in other areas of your life. Hello, happy Tuesday. This is Darren Roberts, Master Trainer at Impact Training Corporation and the Abundance Accelerant. Welcome to the Tuesday Tickle and Tick show number 66. Today, owning your peak performance state. With lots of sporting and athletic finals happening at the moment, then as I said, we understand that how to get into a peak performance state for sport or athletic performance. So for instance, Richie Porte on the weekend just became the second Australian ever to finish on the podium at the Tour de France. And of course, Richie and the high level cyclists who are professional cyclists understand how to get themselves into a peak performance state. Straight after a stage, their recovery, their stretching, their massage, what they need to eat, carb intake, how much sleep they need before the race, their mindset, their visualization, maybe meditation during the race, what heart rate they need to sit to, what power output they need to be within, what heart rate they need to be within, how much, when to eat, how often to eat, etc., etc. Steve Smith, Australian cricketer, he explains that all the little habits that he has when he's out there batting before every single ball is to get himself into a peak performance state. And he says when he does all those little habits, he just feels ready and prepared to take the ball. When he misses something, maybe his shoelaces are poking out the bottom of his cricket whites, he just doesn't feel quite as prepared. So he tapes the shoelaces to the inside of his pants. Gary Ablett, Australian footballer, he has a 2.5 hour routine before every single game, and it's the same every single time because that puts him into a peak performance state. Think about Formula One Grand Prix drivers. Well, we know the cars and the pit crew have a set routine. They understand exactly before that car goes out to perform at its best what tyre pressure, therefore temperature of the tyre it needs to be, what routine the driver needs to do on the warm-up, zigging and zagging to get temperature into the tyres, what brake temperatures that need to be, what oil temperatures need to take place, etc., etc., so that car is at its peak performance state. And then of course the driver. Every driver has their routine to get into their peak performance state. So we're pretty familiar with that. And if you've played sport at a high level, you've probably got your own way of getting to that peak performance state. But my question is, what are we doing in other areas of our life? And how do we know when we're prepared to perform at our peak? Let's talk about leadership. The old school of leadership, and even in sport, we've got footy finals starting this weekend, is the old rant and the rave from the coach and to get everyone to the same peak performance state. That doesn't happen anymore. The high level coaches now, they understand that each player needs a different way of getting to that peak performance state for that individual. Some need to be revved up, some need to be calmed down. Some need to listen to classical music, some need to listen to heavy metal music. So every player warms up and prepares to get themselves into a peak performance state at different rates. And for you that are leading in business, leading other people, again, treating all of your staff the same, giving the same message in the same way is not going to get peak performance. As an effective leader, we manage process, we manage numbers, and we lead the people. So we need to understand from our staff, what is their drivers, what are their values, what is their motivation? And we need to deliver our message or our instructions relating to that. So certainly we'll have team meetings, but we also need to motivate people differently because firstly, people are motivated by different things. Some might be money, some might be team environment, some might be personal satisfaction. What are their values? And then of course, within other areas of our life, so whether it be a business presentation or speaking on stage or an important interview or a meeting or a TV interview, or a sales best practice, or out of business, in relationship. If you've had a rough day at work and you're turning up back at home to meet your partner or your kids, what do you need to do? What routine do you need to go through to get yourself into a peak performance state so that when you show up, you're the best parent you can be, you're the best partner you can be? So here is what I suggest, because I know a lot of you, as I did, have an understanding of how to get to a peak performance state with athletic performance, but let's do that with the rest of our lives. So what I'd love you to do is to take note every day, do it for a couple of weeks, about your daily routine. What did you do throughout the day? What time did you wake up? How much sleep did you get the night before? What did you eat? Who did you associate with? What did you think about before that meeting? What did you think about at the start of the day? What took over your thoughts? Did you do a morning routine? And I want you to assess your day and to write out, what were the results of the day? Was it a great day? Were you on track? Were you productive? Did you achieve the things that you want? Did you be the person you want to be? Or did it not quite work out the way you wanted to? And if you do that over a couple of weeks and maybe even longer, you're going to start to determine, gee, when I do this in the day, I tend to have a better day. When I associate with these people, I tend to perform better. Or when I eat this the night before, or drink this the night before, or I get this much sleep, gee, I don't perform so well the next day. So start reviewing and noting down all of those little aspects to your day, and how did you perform that day? Were you at your peak or were you below your peak? And you'll start to understand, what routines do I need to get into to perform at my best, and what do I need to avoid that reduces me performing at my best? Of course, I've instructed you about some morning routines that I believe work really well. So if you want to be reminded of those, just reach out and let me know. But I'd love to hear from you, whether it's in a sporting context or a business, leadership, or other performance context. Put in the comments below, what are some of the things that you know work for you that put you into that peak performance state? Because it might just help others as well and remind you of what you need to do to be at that peak performance state. So let's take it out of just the sporting and athletic environment and let's put it into other areas of our lives as well, so that we can live to our potential and be at our peak performance. You guys have a great Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday for the Tuesday Tickle and Tick. Bye for now.